Today is Friday, July 24th, 2020, and I woke up with a craving for tofu scramble. So today I'm going to see if I can make a tofu scramble meal with my GoSun Fusion. And the meal will consist of a potato medley and the tofu scramble. Here are the ingredients that we'll use today, starting with the potato medley. So that'll require, of course, potatoes. These are just a little potato medley, washed, quartered, and ready to go. 1 shallot, 4 mushrooms. These are baby Bella mushrooms that we're going to clean and quarter. And to season it, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. The star of this show, our tofu scramble, will of course have tofu. Silken tofu is the way to go. This silken tofu happens to also be shelf stable, which is really nice if you are interested in recipes that you can take with you to places that don't have refrigeration, like when you're camping. About 10 small cherry tomatoes and 1 kale leaf. And for spices, we have 1 teaspoon of turmeric and about 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika. We're also gonna use a fair bit of salt and pepper, and you'll need a bowl to mix everything together. And I like to use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Okay, so first we're gonna make our potato medley. Just take all of your washed and chopped up potatoes and put them in a bowl along with our chopped up shallots and the 4 baby Bella mushrooms. Just toss it all in there with a little bit of olive oil. Salt. Pepper. And our 1/2 teaspoon of garlic. Use a spoon, toss it all together. Okay, we've got our solar oven tray, and we're gonna put this potato medley into the back end of the tray. This will need to cook for about 50 minutes in full sun, or up until all of the potatoes are nice and roasted and tender. All right, I'm gonna put it outside. It is a little bit overcast right now, but I still think there's enough sun to cook with this solar oven. So I'm gonna set it up. Open up the reflectors, lock them into place. Direct it towards the sun and make sure that my potato medley is nice and secure in there. All right, I'll check on these in about 15 minutes to an hour. All right, we are ready for the main event here. First, we'll start with our little cherry tomatoes. We're just gonna cut those in half. These are gonna be a delicious addition to the tofu scramble, but you can also use any other kind of vegetable that strikes your fancy. You could use other types of mushroom, even garbanzo beans. I've seen people use all kinds of vegetables in their tofu scramble. I like this combination of kale and cherry tomatoes though. So with the kale, you want to cut off this harsh stem and just put that to the side. And you're gonna chop the leaves of the kale coarsely. Kale is kind of a tough vegetable, and at first I was really intimidated by it, but the more I've cooked with it, the more I've come to appreciate it. And then we have our tofu. So with the tofu, you want to drain the excess water and just dump the whole box into your bowl. And just very gently, with a fork or with a spoon, however you would like, start breaking it up. And we're using the same bowl that we used for the potatoes because we want that little bit of olive oil and garlic to complement our scramble here. So break that tofu up. You don't want any big hunks of it. You want it to look like an egg scramble. Once you've gotten it broken up to the extent that you would like, then it's time to add your spices. So we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of turmeric, which is going to give the scramble its nice golden color. It'll also add a little bit of turmeric taste to it, but I find that it's more for the color than the taste. Then 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika. A little bit of pepper. And some salt. I would recommend at least 1/2 teaspoon of salt here. And then you want to take the vegetables that you've just chopped up, the cherry tomatoes and the kale, and just mix it all together. So you're mixing together all of the spices and seasonings, the kale, and your tofu. All right, this looks mixed enough. Once the potato medley has gotten tender in your solar oven, then it's time to add the tofu scramble, and this will need to cook for about 20 to 30 minutes, just for it to get nice and hot, for the flavors to all blend together, and for the kale to become soft. Okay, our potatoes have cooked and are now nice and tender. So what we're gonna do is move them all to the back and make some space for our tofu scramble. We're going to put the tofu scramble mix towards the front of the tray. We'll put the tray back into the solar cooker and back outside again for another 20 to 30 minutes. Once your kale is cooked, you're ready to eat this tofu scramble meal. And this is a really versatile dish. You can eat it for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. It's very hearty, it's full of flavor and protein. I recommend sprinkling a little bit of nutritional yeast on top of the scramble if you'd like to give it an air of cheesiness. And you can also pair this really well with toast or a side of avocado. Bon appetit, my friends. Enjoy.